Hi, my name is Riam Kanso and I'm the CEO of ConceptionX. ConceptionX is a program that helps PhD students build deep tech startups based on their research. Deep tech is fascinating. Deep tech is technology that's a result of meaningful scientific discovery and engineering innovation. So Google, Microsoft, ARM were all deep tech startups in the beginning. This is a little bit different from other startups, which are mostly market-driven, that do not necessarily focus on the technology and focus on existing market gaps first. This basically means that PhD programs and universities are the place where deep tech innovation can be found. So early stage deep tech founders are usually scientists who have little or no commercial background, so they need support and help to build companies, and this is exactly what ConceptionX does. ConceptionX is currently the leading PhD deep tech venture program in the UK. We help PhD students in STEM become what we call venture scientists. A venture scientist is a researcher who has an interest in commercializing their work and to become a startup founder. So we run a 9-month experience that runs alongside the PhD program, and we help students commercialize their work, build teams, launch companies, and hopefully get investment at the end of the program. There isn't necessarily a difference in how they structure their finance, but I think especially with early stage deep tech, if you don't necessarily understand what you're investing in and don't have the ability to evaluate new technologies in a specific field correctly, you're not going to go very far. So from a certain perspective, deep tech investors are usually those who are willing to take a little bit more risk and bet on new technologies that have mostly been tested in a controlled lab environment, not in real life. And they might actually take a bit longer than typical startups to have an exit. So with most companies, it takes on average, 7 to 8 years to see a return on VC investment. With deep tech, that's typically a bit longer than that. Basically, what's important for deep tech investors is to be willing to take those risks, but also to have deep domain knowledge on how to bring a new technology to market. Because if you don't have that knowledge, it's harder to make a judgment call. We're probably going to look back at this era as the moment when biology became software. So if you think about technology before AWS, you had to buy your own software, but now you go there and you launch your product. The same thing is probably going to happen with biology. Soon we won't need a wet lab. We've seen this happen already with COVID vaccines that were designed pretty quickly. So biotech companies are usually the ones that are slow to get to market, and I think pretty soon they'll become as fast as software companies. And this is because of emerging CRISPR gene editing technology and the advancement of mobile technology that allows you to integrate what would have once been the most powerful computer into like really small device. I think ClimateTech is another area that's receiving a lot of attention, because it wasn't until very recently when people started launching VC funds that are dedicated to climate at scale. And I think a climate tech startup investment topped $17 billion globally last year. In ConceptionX, we see those trends as well. So we have startups that are developing technology to produce energy from soil, to lower carbon emissions from buildings, through machine learning, and by adapting energy use around people's actual needs, etc. We've worked with around 170 deep tech founders across ConceptionX, and there's a pivotal moment in the life of a deep tech startup, and this is basically proving that your technology works. Once you reach that moment, everything is much easier, the financing unlocks. So the advice is identify a use case, get market validation, keep going, talk to VCs, talk to angels in the space. And when looking for investment, deep tech startups are exactly the same as other investable startups. The only difference is that there needs to be some link with the investor. be it the focus area or expertise. So spend time understanding their portfolio and build a relationship with them. And it's a long journey, so just be prepared to work hard and hopefully have great results.